This video was recorded live before a canned studio audience. It's Friday Night Movie Reviews, and here they are, Chris and Keith.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I'm Keith.
I'm Chris.
And this is not Friday Night Movie Reviews. This is Friday Night Streaming Reviews. We're going to do something a little different tonight. Friday Night Streaming Reviews. That's, if you're strapped for cash, then this is... Well,
if you're strapped for cash but got plenty of time, it's time to watch something on streaming.
There you go. There you go. So what we're going to talk about tonight is a streaming show from Amazon called Fallout. And if you watched our Borderlands video, you know that the movie was based on a video game. Well, this is the same premise. Fallout is based on a video game, for those of you who don't know. Now, if you're watching this, you're probably thinking, I already knew that because I play the video games, because there's a lot of them out there. But yes, this is a streaming show that was based on the game of Fallout and the whole series that is part of.
Yep.
Now, just to kind of give you a brief overview, give us a brief overview of what Fallout actually is there, Chris.
Fallout basically occurs in a different universe than ours, where technology advanced differently than us, where they focused on nuclear energy from the get-go. They developed robotics where we don't have robots today like that. They already had like flying cars. Everything ran on nuclear energy versus gasoline fuel cars or anything like that. They just everything straight up nuclear. Well, the issue in their universe was they started having nuclear war with each other. You had, the West versus the East, and it was that kind of thing, and went back and forth. The technology continued to evolve. Well, eventually the bombs drop, but there were people that survived the nuclear blast. You had people that lived in these vaults that were built deep underground by a company called Vault-Tec, which is kind of similar in the vein of companies that exist today. They have a company called Nuka-Cola, which is obviously supposed to be like Coke, basically.
Right, Nuka-Cola.
Yeah, and so you have Robco, who is kind of like companies that we have today that make electronics, but Robco specializes in computers, TVs, and of course robotics. It's in the name. So that's kind of a little bit of the background of the show. And so you have the vault dwellers that live underground. You've got the people who lived on the surface that survived. And then you've got different people who were hit by the radiation, who became they look like zombies, but just to let you know, they're not zombies. They're a race called ghouls.
Right. Right.
And
they're not exactly. I mean, some of them are feral and
can be like zombies
and mindless, kind of like zombies. But it's in the video game, it's a little scarier because they can run. And they don't just and walk after you. They actually run at you, and it's kind of creepy whenever you're walking in a dark area in the video game, and all of a sudden you're being chased by one of these things, and they're pretty hard to kill.
Yeah.
But a lot of the ghouls actually still have their mental capabilities, and it's kind of brought out that it takes time. That they start out that way. They start out with still their mental capacity, and they just look gross, but then over time they begin to lose their mind and they become more feral, and that's when they do turn zombie-like.
Yep.
But it takes time for them to be that way.
Yeah. They could spend several hundred years before beginning to get symptoms of being feral, that kind of thing. And then, of course, animals got mutated too. And you'll see that in the show, that there are several creatures you're going to see throughout it that were mutated, like roaches the size of small dogs, that kind of thing.
Right. Right.
Then there's some that I think they're going to hold back to future seasons of this show that we haven't got to see yet. If you're familiar with the video game, we haven't got to see a Deathclaw yet. That's one thing that'll come up. There's a group that survived the war called the Brotherhood of Steel, and they're heavily prevalent throughout this show, and one of the main characters named Maximus is part of that group, and you get to see a little bit about them, just as kind of background.
So basically what the show is, the setting of it has kind of like a 1940s or 1950s kind of feel.
Yeah, like cathode TVs. Yeah,
right.
Very, very in that vein.
The cars, even though they are nuclear powered, they still have that look of cars from like the 1940s and 1950s.
And the music, it's
the music,
Ella Fitzgerald, that the 50s
right.
type music,
the big bands kind of thing,
Frank Sinatra,
right?
Right.
That kind of feel as far as the movies go, so, or as far as the music and everything goes. So it has a very 40s, 50s kind of vibe, but like Chris was saying, like he brought out, they developed the nuclear technology and they kept going with it, and they highly developed it into something that, like what we don't have today.
Yep.
But
so they look retro, but it's futuristic at the same time. But it's
right.
futuristic in the sense of what the 50s thought the future was going to look like.
Right.
That might be the better way to describe it.
Right, and it's really cool. So what this
the plot. Yeah.
So the plot of the show is you have this company, Vault-Tec, and they have these vaults set up to hold people and protect them from a nuclear war. All right, they built these in advance all over the United States, and what you get from this show throughout it is you find out that Vault-Tec was responsible for the bombs dropping to begin with.
Yep.
Because it was all business. It was all business with them, and
they wanted people to purchase their right to go into the vaults.
Right.
And it turns out Robco and all those companies, basically it's a stance on how mega corporations can become basically for instead of for the good of mankind, can become evil, because you can kind of see Vault-Tec, the similarity as Amazon.
Right.
And it's ironic that Amazon made the show.
Right.
Because it's poking fun at that. It's really bringing that
poking
out.
Fun at big companies starting out to want to do things good for mankind, but they end up turning against mankind. And so the show picks up about 400 years, is it?
Yeah.
After 400 years after the bombs dropped. So you're talking about a huge length of time where nobody has gone outside because they've constantly been told that there's too much radiation outside and that they can't go out, and that after a certain length of time, that's when they can go out because the radiation will no longer be there. So as far as violence goes, this movie was pretty wrought with violence.
Oh yeah, this is exactly, and I mean, it's exactly like the video game. Violence heavy, profanity heavy.
Right.
You're talking adult situations are in it. Now that's something that wasn't necessarily in the game, but it's on the show. Very first episode, they let you know, this is in the veins of, they don't show like Game of Thrones level, but it's there. Like,
right.
This is not for kids.
This is definitely one that if you watch it, you want to shut the bedroom door and not let the kids watch it. You definitely don't want to sit them down and let them watch it. I mean, if you wouldn't let them watch you play the video game, you probably don't want them watching the show either, because the show goes really hand in hand with the video game, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. It is an excellent transfer.
Right.
Where Borderlands, the movie, was not a great interpretation of the video game. This show is a 100% interpretation of the video game,
right,
without a doubt in my mind.
Now, action packed. Would you say that this is an action packed show?
Oh, absolutely.
Very action packed. There are now. Just to be honest with you, this is post apocalyptic, so there's not really. It's not really a whole lot of comedy in it, but there are some moments in it where you do get a good laugh, for one reason or another, even if it is dark. I mean, a lot of the humor in this is kind of dark humor.
Yeah.
And what we mean by dark humor is, it's it's something that is not really supposed to be funny, but they make it funny.
Yep.
And that's how it turns out. There's a little bit of a sprinkling of romance maybe beginning. Now,
between Maximus and Lucy, the two of the main characters.
Right. What you have to understand is there's only been one season of this. So there's only been a few episodes. How many episodes of it? I think it's 8.
There was 8, I believe.
8 episodes. So we're going on one season, 8 episodes. So there's not really a whole lot to go on right now, but we'll tell you this, there are some kind of creepy moments in it. There's some drama in it. It's action-packed. It has a few little chuckle moments in it, even though it may be dark. But it's not one that you want, like we said before, it's not one you want the kids to see. Just keep them away from this because it's got a lot of bad language in it. So have them stay away from it. So as far as our thoughts on this show go, I would say, as far as like video game recreations on screen go, this is one of the ones that I referred to in the Borderlands video that was a success.
Yep, it was an exception, not the rule.
This was definitely an exception because this one goes so hand in hand with the actual video game that you just about can't separate it. It's just right up there. It's very, very well done. The special effects are top notch. The music fits with it. Everything is just timed so greatly, and it looks so much. The people they got to be involved with this particular show, I would say, are big fans of the video games.
Oh yeah, because the scenery, the costumes, the music, everything is authentic to the game.
Right.
Like the whole time you're sitting there watching it, I wanted to pull out my controller and start playing the game. I'm like, no, this character needs to be going in this direction or needs to do this. I mean, they're
right.
From a guy who's played Fallout 3, 4, and I played New Vegas. Like I've played 3 out of those games out of the ones they've made, and I did the whole time. I'm sitting there like, this is so good, and you almost forget that you're watching a show. You think you're actually playing the game. I mean, that's how authentic they came across.
That is how good. That is how well done it is. It's you can tell these people are fans because they really didn't stray too far from anything as far as the look and feel of it all goes. It's incredible. It's really an incredible thing, and like we said before, it's an exception to the normal rule that video games just don't translate well on screen. Definitely this is worth watching. It is worth your time.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely worth your time in watching. And I would suggest that if you have a choice between one or the other, if you have a choice of, hey, I want to watch something based on a video game, should I go and watch Borderlands or should I watch
8 episodes of Fallout? I'm watching Fallout.
Yeah, definitely go and watch 8 episodes of Fallout.
And we'll leave this on a cliffhanger too, because the show basically, Lucy's trying to find her dad, the overseer of the vault.
Right,
he was kidnapped, and you got to watch the show to find out if she finds him or not.
Yep, did she find him?
And I will say Walton Goggins, he plays the ghoul on there, or Cooper Howard. He was an actor before the bombs and became a ghoul. Excellent actor. If you're a fan of Walton Goggins, please watch this. He is fantastic. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to get nominated for an Emmy for this show.
Right.
He was that great on it. I can't stress how good this was.
Right. And if you've played the video game, a lot of the things that you see in the video game are kind of explained or give an allusion to in this show. For instance, Vault Boy. Where did Vault Boy come from? Who is Vault Boy? Where did the thumbs up go, and what does it mean?
Yep, watch the show and you will see.
It actually explains some of that stuff and shows you what those things actually mean and what they are. It's, the lore behind it is actually really, really good.
And there is an Easter egg. There's a phone number that's featured on the show. Call that number. It is you'll be in for a treat when you get to that episode where it shows the phone number. Just give it a call. It's hilarious.
Right. So how many sodas would you give this show?
Oh, this is getting 10 out of 10 sodas. This is probably one of the best things I've watched this year, easily.
Right. So 10 out of 10 sodas. I would give it 10 out of 10 popcorns. It's really just I can't just boost it. I can't boost it enough. It's really that great.
Yep.
That great. So go and watch the show. It's awesome. You'll enjoy it. And that is our cue to go.
Yep. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell ring for notifications for when our next video drops. And thank you. Please comment.
And remember, if anything happens in the show that you don't like, look, please don't throw your controller at the TV screen. That's just not good. That's not a good thing to do during the video game, but it's definitely not good in this. Continue to watch the show because it really does. It gets better. And there at the end, you're really wanting more.
Oh, yeah. Season 2, please come sooner than later.
Right. We can't wait for Season 2. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us tonight. Remember, watch the shows, watch our videos, subscribe, tell your friends about us, tell your families about us, and tell them to subscribe as well. Thank you for watching. We love you all.
Good night.
Good night.